Hi, I'm Lloyd Core and I'm the colour director here at Skyler London, and today I'm going to be talking through with you our fluid hair painting technique. It's a great technique and it's bespoke here at Skyler London, and the reason why it's so good is because when we're freehand painting the hair, we're using a board and we're placing the hair down in sundials, so it's really good to get different differentiation of tones between the different strands. This is my beautiful model Ria. As you can see at the moment, she's got a little bit of balayage going on, but it's a little bit grown out. She's recently had a haircut, so a lot of those lighter ends were removed. So we just want to sort of bring the lighter ends up, give it more of a warmer tone, because I think that's what we were talking about in our consultation. And also, as you can see through the top here, she's got quite a significant amount of darker hair, and then the blonde is more sort of underneath. So the fluid hair painting technique is going to be perfect for your natural texture because it's really going to show the difference in tone, especially when you're wearing it in its natural form without being blow dried. So we're going to get our beautiful table set up. Ria's going to get gowned up and have a lovely tea, and we'll see you in a second. So before we start with our colour application, it's really important to get a nice sectioning pattern in. The reason we're really in depth about sectioning patterns here at Skyler London is because sectioning is key to getting a great even colour result. And I think one of the most important things that people miss out is sectioning when they're colouring, because it can really help to optimise your time and it can really help to give you a better result. So I'm going to start with a central profile section from the top of the head right down to the nape of the neck. This is the best way to get a central profile because it allows for you to get the whole line at once. So what we like to do when we section is we think it's really, really important to work from one side to the next rather than doing all of one side and then all of the other side. It helps you to make it a lot more even. So like I just did on the opposite side, I'm going to use that as my guide, and then I'm going to come down and take a radial line section on the opposite side. So what I'm going to do, just for ease, because Ria has got a lot of hair, I'm just going to push that hair over to the side, and then I'm just going to focus on my front sections. So working from the top of the head here where the cross meets, I'm going to take a section that's down like this. It's kind of like a really long triangle shape. And then here at the top, if you pop your head down for me, Ria, you can see it's like a nice sort of triangle shape there. So then I'm going to move over to the other side, and then I'm just going to work once again with the same sectioning, mirroring it on the opposite direction. So as you can see, pop your head forward for me, Ria, we start with a central profile here, and we've got two triangles here at the front and two larger triangles here at the sides. What this is going to do is it's going to help to accent those key areas of Ria's hair and Ria's face shape. So these two pieces will be working around the front and where that sits, and these two will be working on the underneath areas. So we're just going to move to the back now. So what I want to do is sort of create a mini section at the bottom here as my starting section. And what that's going to do is that's just going to help me to get it nice and clean at the bottom, so then when Ria does wear her hair up, she'll be able to see the difference in the colour. So then I'm going to start probably just in the middle of the ear here to take my next section, and you just want to take it nice and horizontal across. The good thing about taking horizontal sections at the back is that you get to work up in a nice methodical way. Done for my last section. Just going to go from sort of about the middle of this last section here and work across. So this will be my last section up here on the top. And what I'll do is when I get there, I will obviously split this section up into pieces as well. So as you can see, we've set up our table. We have all our tools and apparatus that we need to complete the fluid hair painting service. So just to start with, I've mixed up two of my colours. This is a 634 and a Noah. This is only 15 grams, so it's only a little bit, and that's just to go over where her hair is already blonde. This is mixed with a 20 volume peroxide, and it's mixed 1:1. So this is our bleach powder. What we do is we mix the freehand powder with the multi-technique powder in a 2:1 ratio, and what that does is it gives us a better consistency for freehand painting. I've mixed this with a 20 volume peroxide, and that's going to help to lift her hair but not lift it too much. And then the last tool, which is one of the most important, is our ProCare Balayage 300 dispenser. And what I really love about this machine is that when you're doing the fluid hair painting technique, you need to use your cling film, and it's really quick and easy to get it out in nice clean strips, so you're not having to fumble around with the color. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to ask Ria just to pop her head forward, and then what I'm going to do is take the first section out, And then what we like to do with fluid hair painting is section it off into smaller sections. And what we do is I'm going to take my lightener, and I always like to use, because the balayage board has, the L'Oreal Professional balayage board has all these little sort of grooves inside it. It's really good for breaking down the product, kind of like a painter's palette. And when you're doing the fluid hair painting technique, it's really important to be very soft with your blending. And then what I like to do is take it underneath and then use the board and paint it on the board like so, because we want that saturation through the lengths and ends there. And then I'm going to take a piece of cling film, just lay it over the top like that. So once again, this is just my Anoa 634. So I'm just applying this where her ends were already quite blonde, and this is just going to tone down what she's had before and just help it to blend with the rest of the colour that we're going to do today. You just want to make sure you've got nice saturation through the ends, because that's what's really going to make the colour pop, you know? And the good thing about this technique is that you don't necessarily have to do each piece of hair. So when I'm taking my sections, I'm taking about a 2 to 3 centimetre section, and that's just allowing me to have a nice amount of hair to work with, but not too much and not too little. It depends on the density of your model's hair as well. If the density is slightly finer, you want to take larger sections, and if the density is slightly thicker, then you want to take smaller sections. And as you can see, underneath here, this is where we last coloured the hair dark, and this hair sits directly on top of that section. So this section here, I'm actually going to do with my lighter colour, so it sits on top of the darker colour and creates more of a contrast. It's obviously important when you're trying to create a softer, more natural result, especially with the fluid hair painting, that you're feathering your technique and you're feathering your lightener up. So what I like to do is I like to always start in the mid-band here and then just work up. And the most important thing, people always say, oh, how do you make sure it's blended and how do you know? I think for me, if it looks blended visually, then that's when you know it's going to be blended together as well. Another tip is when you're doing your fluid painting or your balayage techniques, then what you want to do is, rather than using the length of your brush like this, or using the width of your brush this direction, my biggest tip would be to use the brush in this direction, so you're working flat, because actually that's going to give you a much better blend and it's going to give you a lot more cohesive colour. So I've just finished the back sections now, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to move on to our left hand side first large triangle. The way you apply this depends on the way that they want to see the colour on their hair, but what I like to do is I like to always start here at the top and just work down in smaller sections, just applying it working backwards rather than working forwards. So hair naturally is darker at the back and lighter at the front, and when you're doing something like a fluid hair painting where you're trying to create a very natural result, you want to try and mimic this when you colour. So what I'm doing actually is, if at the back I was doing, you know, let's say 2 lighter pieces to 1 darker piece, at the front I'm going to be doing 3 lighter pieces to 1 darker piece of hair. So you always want to try and make the front look slightly lighter, nothing too significant, but just enough so it looks very, very natural. So I'm just finishing off my last section now. And then what we're going to do is we're going to process Rhea for about 25 minutes. We're going to check it at 25. She may need a bit longer, but I always like to go in and check beforehand. And then we're going to take the cling film off. We're going to rinse her out of the basin and then get toning. So the colour's developed and we've just taken out all the cling film. So what we're going to do now is we're going to rinse Rhea's hair and then we're going to towel dry really nicely and get her ready for the toner. So this is my toner. It looks a little bit scary, but that's because I've used pure pigment and it oxidizes this colour. It doesn't actually come out this colour. So what I've used is I've used 634 in Dia Light and 834 in Dia Light to create a 734 level. I wanted to keep it on a 7 level to keep it nice and sort of cohesive with her natural colour. And I also added in a bit of the 0.35 Diarachesse High Visibility. The great thing about adding that in is that it sort of intensifies the tone slightly, but without taking it over the top. And I like the 5 in there because it helps to give that richness to the copper rather than it looking too strawberry blonde. I've mixed that with a 9 volume developer, and what's really great about that is that it doesn't drop the hair too quickly. So because Rhea has quite a lot of hair, I wanted to make it possible for me to apply the toner without having to worry about rinsing areas too quickly. So I'm just going to apply the toner now. And then inside the toner, we also have our Smart Bond Step 1, which we're going to finish off later. So after we finish the toner, we're gonna rinse and then apply our Smart Bond Step 2 for up to 20 minutes. And then we're gonna shampoo and condition with our Pureology hydrating range. So we've just finished shampooing and conditioning Rhea's hair. What we're going to do now is wrap her up and take her upstairs for a blow dry, and we can see the final result. So we're just combing through. We've just finished rinsing out the toner and shampooing and conditioning with our Pureology Hydrate range. As you can see, it looks really, really nice, really shiny already. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to apply some of the Shurmura Wonder Worker. This is a great blow dry spray, and it's nice and heat protecting as well, so it'll protect Rhea's hair from the heat. And then we're just going to dry off, and I can't wait for you to see the finished result. So we've just finished with Rhea's hair, we've just finished tonging it, and as you can see, the result is absolutely gorgeous. She's got amazing hair, so it blow dries really beautifully, and we've given her this gorgeous chestnutty tone, which was only achievable through the fluid hair painting because we were using those different colours and being able to see where we were placing them, and that's what makes the colour so seamless. And then obviously the toner was really helpful in getting that lovely coppery chestnutty tone, and what we're going to do is create a bespoke colour conditioner for Rhea to take home and top it up so she doesn't have to keep coming back to the salon. But the big question is, what do you think, Rhea? Do you like it?
I love it.
Yeah.
It's so pretty.
Yeah, it looks really, really nice, and I think it goes so well with your natural skin tone.
Yeah.
It looks really, really lovely, and I think it's absolutely beautiful on you. I'm so glad you like it. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content. Bye!